This episode of Love Lauren is sponsored by Scott Bonnar Fabrication and Parts. This is our clutch body assembly and the PTO shaft sitting here. I just got it all together to make sure it would fit, and I noticed just now that I've still got some blue tape on the end here, which reminds me that I need to paint this shaft. Before I do so, I wanted to check and see how all this is going to fit together and basically what needs painting, because I want to leave the section of the shaft that protrudes into this clutch cone, and likely the thrust pad as well, unpainted, so that we don't have any issues there with the paint interfering with the fit. This is going to pass through that hole in the end and fit in like so. So what I want to know, given that shaft is going to fit through that bearing in the bearing housing, I want to know how much shaft is going to be left exposed here so that I can paint it appropriately. Now, just to reduce the weight on the end of all of this, I've taken the engine side of the clutch half off, and I'll slip that into place like so. Now, the advantage of having the other side of this clutch half off is that I just sort of see where it needs to sit in relation to this bearing housing, the bearing specifically, and this adjuster fork. Now, obviously there's going to be a bit of travel of the clutch cork in here as well. I'm going to spray paint this shaft. The paint thickness won't be too thick, so as long as I've got a reference point on this end, I'm not going to worry too much about the steel that fits under that thrust pad. I don't want any paint on the section that goes into the clutch cone, but worst case I can sand that off. And you know, at the end of the day, there is a little bit of play in that thrust pad that I can deal with if there is paint under there. Pull it back out and have a look. I think realistically I can probably go right up to the very end anyway. And I've got that clutch sort of roughly engaged like so. So we'll leave ourselves a little bit of wiggle room, maybe, and that's our painting margins going forward. And so there's our masked up shaft. There's not much of it on a 14-inch, put it that way, once everything's sort of embedded in the clutch cone and the bearing housing, but nonetheless, my intention was to do some spirals on there, something cool, but we'll see how we go. So let's get some primer on there to start with.